Good morning, everyone. Boker Tov. The beginning of this week's Torah portion is Moshe commanding his brother Aaron to kindle the flames of the menorah each and every day in the Holy Temple. And our rabbis in the Rashi asks, what's the connection between the opening of this week's Torah portion and the conclusion of last week's Torah portion? And Rashi says that the end of last week's Torah portion was the story of the dedication and the inauguration of the tabernacle. And we read how for 12 consecutive days, the representative of each tribe brought gifts, like housewarming gifts, for the opening of the sanctuary. And Rashi says, quoting the rabbis, that Aaron witnessed the way every tribe brought gifts to dedicate the temple. But he and his tribe did not participate because they were the Levites. They were the ones, Aaron and his children were the Kohanim. They served in the temple. They didn't bring gifts to the temple. They administered in the temple. And therefore he felt a little despondent, and he felt sad that he couldn't participate. So God tells Moses, tell your brother Aaron he shouldn't feel bad because he's going to light the menorah every day in the tabernacle. And his portion, his lot, is even greater than theirs. And the Ramban, Nachmanides, says, okay, that's a great consolation for Aaron that he gets to light the menorah. He also has a pivotal role. But why is that greater than what the tribes did, the Nesiim, the leaders, bringing gifts for the tabernacle? And the Ramban says that the reason why Aaron's role was superior was because one day the Hashmonayim, the Maccabees, will defeat the Syrian Greeks and rededicate the temple and kindle the flames of the menorah in the temple. And the holiday of Hanukkah will be born. And for generations, until this very day, Aaron's menorah will be lit on Hanukkah in every Jewish home and inspire Jewish families throughout all the years of the dark exiles. And therefore what God was saying to Aaron is, yes, the heads and the leaders of the tribes brought gifts. It was glorious. It was a beautiful sight to behold. But don't feel bad, because your mitzvah of lighting the menorah is perpetual. It will continue throughout all generations. And what the Ramban is teaching us is that sometimes in a moment we look at an act and we think that it's very grand, very significant, but with the passage of time it fades. But then sometimes there could be a mitzvah that you don't recognize at the time, but its light will shine forever and ever. And therefore when we do a mitzvah, we have to think about the long-term impact it's going to have and try to do those mitzvot, especially that, like the menorah, will be a light for generations to come. This week I read a story about this individual by the name of Noah Nechbender. And Noah says that a year ago, a good friend of his, whose name was Moshe Zimbalist, fell in Gaza. And he and his friend went to the Shiva home to comfort the family of Moshe. He was only 21 years old. He had made Aliyah from Maryland. And when they were leaving the Shiva, they were so sad. And they said to themselves, we have to do something to perpetuate his memory. We have to do something to fill the vacuum of the light in the world that is missing with Moshe's death. And they said, you know what, let us make a shidduch. Let us help a couple get married in Israel to carry on his life. And that will be the mitzvah we'll do in his memory. And they started to brainstorm in the car road home. And they came up with an idea. Noah had a cousin, his friend knew a girl, and they said, let's suggest this shidduch between Yehuda and Hodaya. And they reached out to Yehuda, and Yehuda was actually fighting in Gaza. He said, now's not a good time. When I get out of Gaza, I'll call you. And a few months later, he got out of Gaza, he called him back, and sure enough, a date was set up between Yehuda and Hodaya. This week, on the 9th day of Sivan, Noah says he and his friend were now driving to the wedding of Yehuda and Hodaya, and they realized that it was the exact same day that Moshe had fallen in battle. On the very yard site is when the wedding happened to come about, as a sign from God that indeed they had chosen to do a mitzvah that will carry on his life for all generations. And this is the message of Aaron. Light your light. Create a flame, and it will burn brightly for generations to come. Have a wonderful day.